Hey GX World, I wanted to take the time to make this video as we are heading into the launch of another global exchange operating product. This is kind of a precursor video to what that product is going to do. This is for the GX Money Markets, or the GX Markets for short form. It's a product I've talked about in considerable length for almost a year now because it's something that is so core and pivotal to the global exchange operating system and what I think that the GX OS can present to the cryptocurrency space. And the GX Markets, to be very simplistic about it, is a decentralized money market protocol built on top of different smart contract computing virtual machines that set programmatically governed interest rates to regulate the supply and demand of different cryptocurrency assets. And so what that means is that for the first time in the cryptocurrency space, you have the ability to take your assets that you're holding, whether it be Ethereum, whether it be Bitcoin, whether it be any token that you might have invested in, and stake it and actually leverage against it. So similar to what you can do in most countries with property, similar what you can do with securities in most countries, you can actually use them as collateral and earn time value of money for leveraging them in an open money market. Now, in the traditional financial apparatus, this is really abstracted away from the average person. Mostly what people are familiar to when they hear about money markets is a money market account that's provided by their retail or commercial bank. And that's because the money market in the global financial markets is really something that only large institutions participate in, whether that's governments trading short-term treasuries or that's insurance companies, pension funds. And so it's not really something that the small investor gets access to unless it's through an abstracted instrument like a money market account. But essentially what it is it's the ability for these large institutions to create a time value for these assets in the short term that is then passed on as interest rates to the rest of the economy. Now, in the crypto space, this is non-existent, or it exists in a very small way. Some different companies are testing it out, and we've been testing it out for a long time because we feel that having the time value for your crypto is one of the missing elements that can really mainstream the use of cryptocurrency. And what do I mean by time value? Well, essentially, you need to get compensated for holding cryptocurrency, and you need to get compensated without having to expose your cryptocurrency holdings to undue risk by giving it to someone to, let's say, put in a trading investment. It needs to be something a lot more passive, where people that have crypto can allocate it to people that need it, and that interest rate that emerges is the time value. And why this is important is not just because of the lenders of crypto, but it's also for the borrowers, because many people who are long crypto, like ourselves here at Global Exchange, have been faced with a liquidity crunch. In other words, you're buying Ethereum, you're buying Bitcoin, you're buying these crypto assets for the long term because you think they're going to be worth a lot, but in the mid to short term, they're either sideways, they're down, they might not have done what you thought, and you have no liquidity to run your business, to manage your expenses, and you're forced with the Faustian deal to either sell your assets prematurely before you want to, or of course, in what I like to say in presentations, starve because you have no fiat currency left, or you have no ability to leverage that crypto. And so this is a tremendous problem facing the cryptocurrency market. It's an under-talked about problem, and we're really excited that we can present a solution to fix it. So what have we done? Well, first, there are already centralized lending institutions in cryptocurrency. There are some big ones that are doing incredible things, but just like our take on centralized exchanges, we're not the biggest fan of you having to trust your crypto assets in the hand of an institution who is then going to trust it in the hands of a borrower. We think that will expose you to counterparty risks twice and really not change the way that short-term to mid-term lending is done. And so what we've analyzed and what we've created is the ability to do that programmatically using a set of smart contracts. So the first protocol we built on top of was Ethereum because it has the most developer documentation. And what we wanted to see is if we can use a set of smart contracts to actually regulate market solvency and market liquidity. And we have done so using an incredible set of both open source and proprietary tools. And what has emerged is the GX Markets. And long story short, or actually should I say, long story longer, what you can do is take, let's say, your Ethereum, and let's say you bought Ethereum at $200 because you think it's going to be worth more than that, and you want to hold Ethereum for the long term. You can actually take that using a decentralized wallet like MetaMask or Invest Wallet or MyEther wallet. You can stake that in a smart contract that obviously is the GXMarkets smart contract, and you can start to earn interest, because what you're doing is you're adding it to a pooled interest pool, like you are collectivizing the ability for other people to leverage that. Now, how does this actually work? Well, what we do is we've built something called a GX collateralization ratio, which means that anybody who's participating in this money market contract, remember, there's no central party. We don't touch the money. No one else touches the money except you, the contract, and the end user. Now, what happens is anybody can borrow up to 50% of their collateralization ratio, which means if I put in one Ethereum worth $200 today, I have a borrowing power of $100, and I can use that borrowing power to take out any other cryptocurrency from the money market. And so let's say I put in $200 worth of Ethereum, I can take out $100 worth of BAT, and now I've maximized my collateralization ratio. But now I can do with that BAT whatever I want. Remember, it's completely on chain. You can take it, it's not held in some wallet. You can do it, you can sell it for dollars, you can sell it for yen, you can sell it for euros. You have liquidity, and you're still the owner. You still own the price of that Ethereum that you put in. In other words, the long position you took on Ethereum is maintained, and you have instant liquidity that you can use for a variety of reasons. Now, if you're a trader, you can use this to hedge against BAT or for BAT. You can buy more Ethereum. You can use it to invest into other assets. If you're just someone that needs the money, you can convert it to dollars and use it. So how does this all get settled? Because, I mean, it's great that we can facilitate the access to capital, but then how does this get settled, and how does this market remain solvent? Well, the truth is, and this usually blows people's minds, there's no payback periods, there's no contracts, there's no middlemen, there's no talking to anyone. You can never, theoretically, you can never pay back the BAT if you don't want to. There's no way we can force you to pay it back. But remember, you have given and staked up $200 worth of Ethereum already in the money market, and so you probably want the Ethereum back, and so that creates an incentive structure to pay the BAT. Now let's look at one of the two things that will happen, because after you execute this, only two things can happen. Either the price of Ethereum goes up compared to the price of BAT. So let's look at that. Ethereum goes up after you put it in. That's the collateralized asset. You take out BAT. Now your 2-to-1 ratio is no longer a 2-to-1 ratio. It might be a 3-to-1 ratio because your collateral value has increased, whereas your borrowed value has decreased. And now you can take the surplus, and this happens automatically if you want to set it like that, to pay down your balance. So theoretically, if you picked the right asset to collateralize, you will never have to pay back your balance, or you'll pay back a very small amount. And that's the best case scenario. And that's obviously what a seasoned trader would be trying to do. Now let's look at the other side of the equation. The other side of the equation is the asset that you collateralize goes down compared to the asset that you borrow. Well, this is no good, because you are going to try to break the 2-to-1 collateralization ratio. And since this is not governed by humans and governed by a set of non-negotiable smart contracts, they will not let you do that. They will force you into a liquidation contract whereby your collateral, pieces of your collateral, are algorithmically sold off in order to keep you at that 2-to-1 ratio. And that is sold off to pay down your balance. Now, maybe you don't care about that because you're happy with the BAT that is now appreciated in value, and so you still remain at a 1-to-1 ratio, but you also have the option to, of course, pay back the BAT and take out the Ethereum. So you have the ability now to leverage your crypto, earn interest, and remember, whatever you gave into the market for collateral is also earning interest every single day, and that interest is determined programmatically on the blockchain for everyone to see. So now you have a real ability to lend in the crypto space without having to trust anyone or any institution. You have the ability to take out of the market the liquidity that you need, and you have the ability to manage and really own the value of the cryptocurrency market without being forced into undue decision making. This is a breakthrough in the way that cryptocurrencies are held for the long term. This will change the economics for staking, for like pooled assets asset loans. It will do so much, and we're super excited to drive it forward because we are about to launch our version of the we're about to launch the GXMarkets, which is our version of these programmatic money markets in this month. And the next video I'm actually making is talking about the first version of that, how that's going to impact you, whether you're a customer, a broker, or a constituent, a token holder, how the GX token plays into that, and of course, the main question, which is how can we utilize this within the GX operating system to drive a more holistic cryptocurrency experience. So stay tuned for that video. I hope, and there's already a white paper that we've released that talks about this. There's immense amount of literature that goes into detail about how this works from a computer science perspective. So if you want to dig your teeth into it, please do so. But this product is coming to market very soon in the next week or so, and it's going to be one of the game changers, not just for us, but the cryptocurrency space at large.